here today to meet the woman of my dreams. I've been talking to this girl on the internet for a while. I've actually been trying to save some money to go see this woman.
Did you talk to her online?
I go to the library, believe it or not, to talk to this woman. I met her on MySpace, and she's a very beautiful woman. She's tall, skinny, she's redhead, very beautiful woman.
Why don't we do it this way? Because you've never met her before.
Never met her.
Well, then I'm going to ask you to leave for a few moments, and we'll want to bring her out, let the audience meet her, and then we can both observe you two meeting, which will be a nice moment in your life. Okay? So if you would just
all right, thanks a lot.
Leave her. We'll have you back in a moment. Thank you. So her name is Joby. Let's bring out Joby. Hi, Joby.
Hello, Jerry.
You are you met here Brad here on the internet.
Yes, we met on MySpace.
On MySpace. And what attracted you to him?
He was cute. He seemed very nice when in the message he sent me.
Yeah. And you think this could be the one?
Yes.
And
but I have a secret to tell him.
You have a secret to tell him?
Yes.
And your secret is?
I'm a man, Jerry.
Oh, shit.
He says he wants to meet me, you know, he tried to get a bus ticket or whatever. Yeah. I said I'd just call the Jerry Springer show, you know, because then it'll give it more of a spread.
Well, let's see what, you know, what his reaction is going to be. But you really care about him. This isn't just to play a trick on someone. You really want him to be okay with you. All right. Well, let's bring him out now. Okay, how about a nice hand? Let's bring him back now. Here's Brad.
How you doing? So good to meet you.
Look at those flowers.
It's kind of nervous on national TV, I know, but, like, I wanted to ask, like, maybe, like, you know, you could be my girlfriend.
Well, Brad, I have to tell you, I'm a man.
I'll try anything once.
Oh my God, I love it. That one never gets old, does it, Andreas?
No.
No. It's always good. Sorry about that, Matthew. That was your little introduction to the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, my friend. We had to throw some Jerry at you.
All right. Gotta love some Jerry.
There you go. They were about to do the Jerry thing right there, but I cut it off real quick just so we can start the show off. Because, folks, we at the MCU'S Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge Report, joined by Matthew for the first time, and Andre's Pop Culture Guy, special guest co-host of mine on Mondays on the Bleeding Edge Report, are here to bang out a review of episode 3 of Rick and Michonne, The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. And we're going to follow it up with a back half segment basically covering the current MCU Phase 5 and Phase 6 movie slate, sans the Avengers films, and just strictly with the movies. And we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive on Captain America 4. What do you mean, Jesus, Andres? You've seen that clip before. That ain't new to you, bruh.
Sir, I don't speak your language.
Anyways, so Matthew's from Stranded Panda. Matthew, welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm from the Stranded Panda Network. We do MCU content as well. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm actually really excited to be here talking about The Walking Dead. No one in my network was watching it, and so when you messaged me that you guys were doing this, I was like, yeah, I want to talk about The Walking Dead. No one else is watching it. None of my buds over there are watching it, so I was like, yeah, let's talk about this. I weirdly have gotten back into The Walking Dead in a big way this last couple weeks, so I'm down.
Well, shout out to everybody on YouTube checking us out right now and everything. Shout out to everybody on Rumble. Shout out to everybody on X. Shout out to everybody on Twitch. You know, Facebook Live, Facebook page. We appreciate all of you out there. Do us all a solid. If you're new to the show, please make sure you subscribe. We're trying to hit 50,000 subscribers. It'd be nice. And we're obviously going to plug these gentlemen at the end of the show. But let's go ahead and dive into episode 3 of The Walking Dead. You know, I want to keep calling it Rick and Michonne for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
It is the ones who live. Right? It's so easy to just call it Rick and Michonne. But you guys, maybe we'll start off. I guess I'll go to you, Matthew. Your thoughts going off episode 2, going into episode 3, as far as your speculation for what you were going to get before you saw it.
It's It's a good question.
Or what were your thoughts on episode 2 in general? Like, if you could give us like a kind of like, you know, a quick rating, you know, off it, maybe, you know, like that'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, I like where they're going with the show in general. I'm sort of like they all three bleed together for me right now. But like the three episodes, I am really excited about The Walking Dead again in a way that I wasn't for. I don't know. I've been kind of watching it, sort of falling in and out of it for a while, and like the first episode, which I know y'all have already talked about and stuff, but like that first episode felt like it was back to true form.
The banger.
Yeah. Andrew Lincoln starting the episode, just like finally losing his hand after all these years of him putting that off, and it just really got me pumped. And then the subsequent episodes have been great. Thought episode 2 was awesome. With like they did a really good job of establishing all these new characters and like bringing them into the world and like making me care about them, and then having them all slaughtered so that we'd hate this the city or whatever. And like and I'm really now I'm just curious. The show has me like totally curious on multiple levels. I don't know where they're going with all the mystery. Like, what is the rest of the story? You know what I mean? Like that thing with this character who's telling him, you know, you don't know what I know yet. You don't know what I know yet, Rick. I'm just it's got me completely in and curious. So I'm overall digging it. And I'm trying to remember how the last episode ended. How it.
I thought it was a drop off from episode 1. That's why I asked you to rate it. Because remember, I dropped it. I think what did I drop it? I dropped it down to a 7, didn't I, Andres? Episode 2, didn't I give it a 7?
Yeah.
I gave episode 1 a 10 out of 10. I gave it
a
7.
Sorry. Just to ratings wise, I think I would agree with you. I think the first episode is like back up to like the best of The Walking Dead, like just really killing it. Second episode was definitely a drop off, but still good. Like it's a good episode of The Walking Dead.
I thought it was good. A 7's not exactly a bad grade. It's a 70% out of 100. It's so it's not that it's a C plus if anything. Andres, do you want to rebut anything off of what Matthew said?
No. I just want to rebut from you the episode ending. The episode ending for episode 2 was with Rick getting to meet with the lady Jadis. Yeah, that's right. That was the last part we saw from that episode, which we get picked up in this episode 3.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for reminding me. I was what was the ending to episode 2?
Andres, what were your thoughts going into episode 2, going into episode 3? Did you feel like your expectations were met in terms of like what you thought you would get out of the episode?
I mean, first off, I was just excited to see more like Rick and Michonne like screen time, because the first 2 episodes were like purely focused on one character of, these like, 2 protagonist kind of roles in the show, Rick and Michonne. First episode was Rick and the second episode was Michonne. And then this episode is pretty much them together, which is great. And I like that because that was something where we're, all of us were waiting for as Walking Dead fans, So I was very happy. And I told you, Jeff, they were going to keep us with that scene with Jadis, to like explain what's going on with her and Rick, with the whole deal and all that. And we got more, in contents back in the flashback of like the reason that she brought her into the CRM. So it did a really good job of building up some answers that we were kind of like curious about, like why did Jadis save Rick for like why.
You're talking about. I guess if I had to encapsulate, you're talking about how how bringing Jadis into the episode 3 really injected a lot of like Walking Dead vibes. I'm getting to the point what I like about this episode. But yes, that part, yes. But in general, like getting us to what's going to happen in this series overall in the next. Okay, I see what you're saying. So in terms of coming off of episode 2, you felt like it was a good building block.
Yeah,
pointing in a certain direction of what we can expect for the rest of the series, maybe.
Yes, I mean because right now I'm very excited, especially with the ending we got for episode 3. So
don't get too far.
Yeah,
don't get too far, my friend.
I'm not jumping far, sir. Don't start with me, sir.
I know you're a time traveler. I know, so you're allowed to just jump out of order and everything and whatnot on the panel and all that shit and whatnot. I'm well aware.
Yeah. Last thing I would say. I mean, Interlink and Diane Garea are just killing it this episode. I mean, I always loved them as actors, and they're committed to this series, and that's the one thing that I'm loving about the series, that the actors are committed, which is great. So that's my last thing to say. And
Matthew, what do you think about the fact that Danny Guerrera and Andrew Lincoln were co-produced the whole series?
It's cool. It's cool. I think it's probably one of those like in title only, I bet, because they
were heavily involved in writing the entire thing and everything and whatnot.
Really?
And everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no writing credit, just the producer credit. Because producer can mean a lot of things. Producer, often when someone is just like,
they were a part of the creative process.
Cool. I mean, that's great. I think it always matters if the key people in the show understand the show, and so I would hope they'd at least be involved in like where their characters are going and keeping. You always hear people talk about sort of being protective of their characters, going from one project to another. Like you wouldn't want to make a show if it's not going to do Rick justice. You know what I mean? Do Michonne justice. But yeah, I think they're doing it. I really do. I agree with you about the sort of fall off in quality, but I think that's a television wide thing.
Oh, sure, of course. You're gonna have if you're gonna have 6 episodes or 8 episodes, right, Matthew? There's gonna be at least 1 filler episode or 2 filler episodes in that.
Sure, but also just like pilots are where they put most of their effort most of the time. So like they always go in and like they make that first episode with tons of craft, and then a lot of times the rest of them are a little more like, well, and now we just got to get from point A to point B and do this thing. But like that first episode, and they did the same thing here. They put a lot of effort and thought in that first episode, and it was killer.
Most definitely. We covered Dead City over here, Andres and I, Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
We covered Dead City, and we covered Daryl Dixon. So they've basically been paying off these legacy actors and actresses. They've all been getting producer slots and whatnot and everything, right? This is the one series where they've actually had where they had these 2 actors and actresses, in here really creating the whole series, right? From scratch. Daryl was involved, what's his name? The actor that plays Daryl was involved in Daryl Dixon, but he wasn't this involved. Norman Reedus? No.
Yeah, you could tell that's more like the showrunners involvement. But this one, I don't know, Matt. I don't know. You saw the credits, but you see them as credited as the creators of the show with Scott Gimble.
Cool.
And when they do the end of the episode deal where they show the director's takes like HBO does with their episodes, right? Mm-hmm. Where they the behind the scenes stuff. You see Andrew Lincoln and Michonne talking from a perspective of as a creative voice,
cool.
Right? It is pretty neat. I'm going to go ahead and drop the first trailer for this to go ahead and start off the review. I think it'll set a nice tone. So here we go.
You mute, Jeff.
Yeah, you muted the thing.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. No, I was just saying that I love that moment in the trailer. Where they show Michonne's face like that and whatnot, everything. It's very powerful. Mm-hmm. It's interesting how we're playing these trailers every week as we're reviewing these episodes, and we're starting to see more and more what's already occurred in the show that's in the trailers and what hasn't happened.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
So it's kind of giving you a little bit of a tunnel into what's coming, right? Mm-hmm. Almost more than it does, when you first start the show, obviously, right?
Yeah. And you definitely get more structure to what you know about the world now and what you know about the
we know that scene with Jadis with that gun on whoever she's got the gun on or whatever has not happened yet. Yeah. Right? That hasn't happened yet. So that's probably coming, I'm thinking next episode or episode 5. Right?
Mm-hmm. I think this next episode is going to be, I'm guessing, I don't know.
It's kind of a Rick and Michonne episode.
Yeah, I think they're going to do a bottle episode this next episode to sort of give them the character development they need, so then they go back in as a unified front.
That's kind of what they set up with the little teaser trailer. You saw it, Andres.
Yeah. It's true.
Right? They're setting that up. It looks like it's going to be a straight Rick and Michonne episode. It really does, which I like.
Yeah. Which is good, because I think we need that, and especially because Rick needs to know that he has a son now. I'm waiting for her to drop that on him.
But basically, so, let me go ahead and just read this. I'm just going to read the wiki on this and whatnot and summarize the episode real quick and whatnot. And then we're going to jump in and I'll go ahead and start asking you guys some questions off the scene by scene. But essentially, in a flashback, Jadis approaches Rick in Millennium Park, which is in Philadelphia, and explains her people's deal with the CRM and her intention to sign up. However, Rick is only interested in escaping. And returning to base, Rick enlists Thorne's help in successfully getting Michonne into the consignment program, but Jadis warns that if Rick and Michonne escape, she'll have to kill everyone that he loves for security. Rick attempts to help Michonne escape on her own, but she refuses to go without him. While touring Millennium Park, Michonne meets the artist who created Rick's engraved iPhones and finds new hope. After receiving the Echelon briefing, the revelation of all the CRM secrets, and a promotion, Thorne becomes unsure whether to follow in Okafor's footsteps, reluctantly enlisting Michonne's help for the mission. When Michonne goes rogue during a Walker fight, Thorne nearly kills her, and Rick ends their relationship in an attempt to protect her. Having earned Major General Beale's trust, Rick is slated to receive a promotion and the Echelon briefing in advance of the summit to the CRM's entire leadership. However, Michonne throws herself and Rick off a helicopter in a daring mid-air escape on their return trip. This episode was titled By, and it was directed by Michael Slavis and written by Gabriel Lyanis and Matthew Negrete. And so I'll start with you, Andreas, and I'll go to you, Matthew. Your thoughts on the episode in whole before we kind of get into the nitty gritty of it and whatnot. Well, you're just take as much time as you want without going 60-minute man on the panel. And give me your thoughts from head to toe on the skinny on the episode.
Just remind me the last stop. That's all I need to know. The last stop. Okay. So let me first of the flashback with Jadis and then Rick was pretty interesting. I think it helped confirm that she used Rick to help her be predominantly in the CRM, which was very interesting. And so it made a lot of sense why she was over in Alexandra in the early seasons when she was, training off the, helping Negan train off some people because she needed that to get into the system of the CRM. So that makes a lot of sense now after these years of what was her agenda really. Mm-hmm. And so it just makes sense now why she took Rick. And I think that was a really crucial thing with the flashback, and especially going into the last scene that we were left off in episode 2, that she made a deal to Rick that I save you, and you cannot do your usual thing, and I help you and you help me, and so now she's a high ranking a CRM individual. And so I think that was really tricky. And the fact that she threatened, Rick, that if you and Michonne escape, which I knew that was going to bring up that, if you're going to escape, then I'm going to kill, everyone you love from Alexandra completely. And, it just shows how I think, you could see the true side of Jadis as a villain, because in the early seasons of, or the later seasons of Walking Dead and, the other show, The World Beyond, whatnot, you didn't know what kind of side she was. Was she a good guy or a bad guy? Here, I feel like this episode kind of confirms she's more of a bad guy. She has her own self-interest and she has her own agenda. And I think you can totally see that with this episode. And especially the clip that Jeff brought up of her pulling out the gun. She is truly a villain, I think. So I'm kind of curious where she's gonna be in the show. Is she gonna have that role? Jeff, who was that lady in Ahsoka that was she got escaped with that 2 Jedi villains? I'm sorry.
You're talking about Morgan Elsberry?
Yeah, she reminds me.
Ellsworth,
yeah, she reminds me of that a little bit, but different. Where but much more really villain. I feel like that's the type of role that I think Jadis is playing in this show, because we know the general villain here, and I'm curious where
he's doing some double agent shit almost.
Yeah, and so I think that's one thing I think I like what we're saying of is having good adversaries for Rick and Michonne to have to face. And so, yeah, I think that was really great. And then, of course, seeing, moving past that, okay, Rick, now, he gets the gist that if you're going to escape with Michonne, our deal's off. Now, moving on, we get a really cool couple of scenes of Michonne, doing kind of the similar thing that we were seeing Rick in episode 1, but, he was doing it for a little bit longer, getting into the system of CRM, killing the walkers, seeing the Rick have the highest toll of killing the walkers in his job, yeah, so I really dug that. And of course, seeing Michonne and Rick, passing by to each other, and was it this moment, Jeff, that we saw the clip of Rick wearing the mask, and we saw that always in the first trailer.
It is, and I just want to mention really quick, Kim. Hey, what's up, Kimberly from the Pop Culture Green Room podcast channel? We're gonna see you on Wednesday, me and Andres. Matthew, you're missing out, brother. Shogun episode 3 is gonna be deep. We're gonna be Andres and I are gonna be in celebration of Women's Month or whatnot. We're gonna have 4 new female creators on the panel for the first time ever on the Bleeding Edge. So,
very cool.
Yeah, it'll be dope.
It's awesome. I have not seen any of Shogun yet, but I keep hearing how good it is.
So, Andres, I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead. Continue on.
Yeah. So
you're basically, it sounds like you're covering everything from the intro. So why don't we start right there and whatnot and everything? Why don't you wrap up your thoughts on the intro and everything and whatnot, and then I'll swing over to Matthew on the intro.
Okay. Yeah. That was the last. That's the stuff, Jeff. From
just keep it within the intro of basically when we get past the flashbacks, then we get past the Jadis Rick scenes, and we get into Michonne having that first scene with the other, one of the other new intake people, whatnot, right? And Rick Caesar and all that, whatnot, everything, and stop around there.
Yeah, that's where I was at. So that was cool seeing that shot of Rick, getting out the helmet that we were seeing constantly with the chair, because I thought it was going to be maybe a legacy character rescuing them, but it wasn't. It was Rick, as Jeff saying last week, and this week they confirmed. So, and it was cool to see Michonne reacting, interacting with some of the other CRM residents. So yeah, so I really dug this intro. It really gave me an update and a better sense of who Jadis was as a character, and plus getting more of a deal. What was the deal between those two, and why Rick survived? So let's. I that's where I'm stopping now. So.
All right. Yeah. So what basically where I want to stop at, Matthew, is before Rick meets with Pearl, and Pearl becomes Command Sergeant Major.
Sure.
The CRM and all that, right?
I'll do my best. I will just responding to what Andreas was saying. I really like how they're setting up this sort of difference between Okafor and Jadis. Yeah. And the Okafor was a true believer, and he was doing things against the CRM. He was building his own little organization among the CRM, which I thought was really fascinating and exciting. And him dying in the last episode set him up as this sort of martyr that now, Rick looked at him right before he died and said, I'm in. And it's I think that Rick feels beholden to do the things and follow through on Okafor's vision. So Okafor was someone who was working sort of against the CRM, but it seemed like really good idealistic reasons. And Jadis seems to have her own sort of stuff going on, but it feels very corrupt. Whatever she's doing does, the way she's holding secrets for Rick, and the way she's threatening him, she's doing her own stuff. She has her own thing to it. It does not feel the same. It doesn't seem idealistic at all. It doesn't seem like she has good goals in mind. So I agree. I think she's going to be some sort of villain here, but I think she's a villain of corruption and wanting to keep keep her place and doesn't really care if Rick and Michonne are hurt in the process.
You can expand beyond that if you want. Is that pretty much all you had, Matthew?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I have plenty, but I don't know how. I don't want to go too far beyond.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you go first? Why don't we pick up from where I was talking about, like, basically where we get, Rick with Pearl Thorne, and she comes in, right, and we have the Okafor, funeral ceremony right now and all that and whatnot, and we see the one time when we do see Beale in the episode again, right?
Right.
Kind of telling Rick, like I'm still not sure what what to make of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, whatnot, right? And upgrading, Thorne's role, right? So we see, Thorne, and we see Rick talk about Michonne again. So Rick's all dragged in now with Thorne involved with Michonne, trying to protect Michonne, right? Like Pearl's basically kept Michonne alive now, right? Essentially.
Yeah.
And we see right after that, we see Rick looking at pulling his maps out and everything and whatnot, and planning, the whole escape that turned out to be a solo one for Michonne.
Yeah. Walking Dead always does this thing where it makes me not sure if I can trust someone, and then them dying is what makes me realize I could have trusted them, and I'm really worried about that for Thorne. It's like Rick is scared to share the full truth with her, so he's got her helping him, and he's manipulated her into helping Michonne, and she's calling Rick her only family. So I know. That was such a dark moment, and I think Rick wants to trust her, but he's not willing to risk everything.
There's a lot of emotion in this episode.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of emotion in this episode. The scene with Michonne where she goes to Philly and everything and whatnot, and sees the artist guy and whatnot, and everything was actually very highly emotional, I thought. Going past the attempt by Rick to send Michonne back to Alexandria solo. He still doesn't know about his son yet, right? We see Rick pop up, right? After seeing Jadis again, right, to cover up this whole thing with Michonne going back, taking off, right? Them working together, and and making a really good the best joke of the series so far when he makes fun of her shit haircut, right? We come right off that, and he gets like beepered by Pearl and shows up, and look lo and behold, who's there, like, on the front line killing walkers. It's Michonne, and she's like getting after it, like being an A, like she's not supposed to, right? Because she's pissed off at Rick or whatever, whatnot.
She's not doing a good job hiding herself.
No. So I'll stop there, right? And I'll go to you, Matthew. Your thoughts on that section of the episode, and then I'll go over to you, Andres.
Well, I guess first off, the effects and the brutality of those devices they used to kill the walkers, and Michonne getting after it, as you say, just so crazy. Like we've seen a lot of walker deaths on the various Walking Deads, but like constant just face smashes and like twists. I honestly think it's really impressive technologically, because a lot of times they're walking towards the camera and then you see this thing go in their face and rip it out. And I don't know how much of that is digital and how much of it is practical, but it's really well done. I've been really impressed by that. But yeah, Michonne, I knew she wouldn't leave. Well, partially because there'd be no show, but I knew that she wasn't going to leave, because her character's she's gonna wait a little while longer. What's it? Believe a little while longer. Is that the line?
Yeah, that is it.
And I think that's her whole ethos. This series so far. She's trying to stick around and try to stay in this and try to stay in the fight to keep her entire family, not lose Rick. Rick is there. She hasn't been this close to Rick, and so it's a really great moment when he tries to get her to leave, and then I won't jump too far forward in the episode, but then later they have something similar happen later where he's trying to convince her to leave, and I think he's gonna, this next episode, hopefully they'll get past that, like him just trying to Jadis says it, I think, in that same first scene or whatever, the two of you together. The reason I didn't care if you were trying to escape is because I knew you'd fail. But the two of you together, you can do anything.
I'm glad you pointed that out. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think it's time for us to get past this. Like, get Michonne out of here. Get Michonne out of here. It
reinforces this ethos that they're going by in the series, right? Where like, you know, it's if they're together, like they're unstoppable.
Mm-hmm. And I think they could do the impossible, which is bring down this CR, not necessarily bring it down, but reform it, which is seemingly what Rick is bought in to do. I think he would leave if he could, but he doesn't think he has a chance to do that. I mean, I love these characters, especially Rick and Michonne, and I love a lot of the Walking Dead characters. And it's cool to see them in this completely different environment where they're having to deal with this sort of politics of this big city. We saw some of that in the last season of The Walking Dead main series, but this is just a totally different level with this humongous city with all these, with this military and everything. I think it's just really, really cool.
Andre's a pop culture guy.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Matt. Like, it reminds me a lot of like the Day of the Dead, you know, the George Romero kind of film where, you know, you're seeing the like as in The Walking Dead, we always usually traditionally follow the survivor kind of zombie routine of the human characters. We haven't had like a military, you know. I mean, I don't know how other spin-offs have military, but like this is like seeing our legacy characters facing the like a you know a fascist, you know, government like type of villains. It's just very new, and I'm very impressed how they're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree, you know. Yeah, I mean, Jairus was not worried about Rick, you know, escaping because you know, despite he's very strong, he's just one person. You know, it's like what he's gonna do. Like he's not gonna, you know, destroy this whole operation. But if he was with Michonne, then that is the issue. You know, and I was looking at some video from Screen Crush brought this up. You know, Ryan
Arian.
Yeah, he brought this up, and there was a clip that it made total sense what you were saying, Matthew, that him and the whole, you know, OG crew are very strong together, and they can easily take down. And that's the issue that I think Jadis is kind of worried about, and that could potentially hurt the CRL. So I don't know. We're going to see the OG crew here, but having Michonne in the show with Rick is a big problem, and so it makes a lot of sense. And the Thrawn, or what was the lady? I'm sorry, I forget.
Thorn.
Yeah, Thrawn. I feel so bad for her. Like the fact that
me too.
You know, she became good friends to Rick. You know, in the first episode, you know, and losing, you know, the person that got those two together, and I can't blame her or Rick because, you know, the situation is so, you know, so bad. I was like, oh no, this is so, especially I don't want to jump. I'm not jumping, but like you know what happened in
You're
the
always
end.
fucking jumping ahead, motherfucker.
Yeah, but I don't want to spoil you, but like what happened in the end is like, oh yeah, but Rick is not gonna like maybe follow the, you know, the promise that he did, you know, maybe, but we'll see.
I really hope he does. I've seen Rick look people right in the face, act like their best friend, and then just stab him in the back when he's in his darkest places. Like in some of the seasons of The Walking Dead, he started out as the valiant sheriff, and then he became more and more like, I protect my people and I just have to do what I have to do. And he did some really dark things to people that he thought of as friends. I remember, I want to say it was like maybe the wolves or something, where he like convinced one of them that no, you can come to our community. We'll take care of you. And then just stabbed him. Like he's done stuff like that. And that feels like the path they're on with Thorn. And I really hope that we can see him sort of break that cycle and go.
They did a great job bringing a lot of the dead back in this episode. There's a lot of dead in this series in general, right?
Yeah.
And in this episode, there's a lot of the dead.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
like
they had 200 or whatever in this episode.
Yeah, for real. Like seriously.
Something I always, you mentioned how this show has been a show like where it's just their crew against, you know, sort of the walkers and then little groups they've faced. And this is the first time we've seen them in this scenario. And like, I I always, when I watch, well, I love zombie content, but I always want to see what happens after the initial apocalypse. Like, how do you rebuild society? That's always been the stuff that's most interesting to me. So what they did with Walking Dead with like Hilltop and Seaside, and like that was the most interesting stuff to me. But it still mostly was just like this team facing off with this team, and I really want to see like what happens in this larger, community of like y'all were talking about Dead City. You covered Dead City. That ended with this thing of like, soon we're going to have a war of the civilizations. Remember that line?
Yeah.
Dead City. Like, I'm really curious if the CRM will somehow, because this is in Philly, right? The CRM is Philadelphia, I think.
The main city the main city right there that the CRM is like defending or whatever whatnot is Philadelphia. Yes.
Yeah. So like New York's 2-hour drive from there. Like you just imagine this like bigger war that could start between these people, and we've got someone in Dead City that's like talking about this war and having Negan be the leader, like her general, and like, could this all be doing this like backdoor Avengers style, like build up some civilizations with different characters we care about and then have them clash like an Avengers style thing? I
don't think we think so, right, Andres? We don't think that's going to happen. Maybe Daryl Dixon. They might, because that's what he's looking to. Daryl Dixon is looking for Rick, like that's what he's doing, right? So like, what I'm saying, like, like I could see like maybe that connecting, but I don't see the Maggie Negan show connecting to Rick, what Rick and Michonne are doing.
Man,
yeah. The only thing that if it connected, if that general is maybe a pawn to the CRM, just like how Jadis was in the early seasons.
Oh, that could be.
Because I don't want to talk too much about Dead City, but like we didn't know too much about that lady villain at all.
Yeah,
like
she
was,
they just dropped her on us.
Yeah, and so I'm just wondering if the second season of Dead City will explore her more, and like
that was one of the major problems with Dead City was that there was no real villain. It was all over the place, right? Yeah. Like the writing was all over the place, right? Like it was rough.
The Karak, he was okay, but like he wasn't a friend villain like Negan or the Whiskers and all that.
They didn't use New York the proper way. The way they used Daryl Dixon used France and leveraged France for the series, right? The way they did.
Yeah,
they didn't do that with New York with Dead City, which I didn't understand that. It made no sense to me why they wouldn't have leveraged New York City more. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a geographic change up, like which they've done with all these spinoffs, right?
I guess I felt like they did all that stuff with like the zip lines over the top of the buildings and like a lot of like skyscraper like that. There's a great scene where they're in the middle of the intersection and walkers just start falling from the roofs.
Yeah, you're right.
So they did do some stuff with that, and like obviously just the idea that 8 million, whatever it is, however many people in New York were dead and in the sewers and just creating so much methane that it was powering their city. Like that was a wild and cool, like weird idea,
Yeah. Oh, actually, you brought up the methane. That's another thing that.
Hello, Jocelyn.
Oh, hello, Justin. That's another thing that could connect to is that we know this show confirmed that they're using the walkers as resources.
Yeah.
That was something me and Jeff were kind of weirded out about in Dead City, but because this show, the ones who live like made it more better for me to like, okay, it makes sense that you're using the walkers as resources. So that could connect as well, is that maybe the CRM sees New York as maybe a big like resources to kind of like grab so that they can live.
Yeah, absolutely. If they find out about the methane, that's what that lady says in that last scene. If they find out about our methane that we've built up here, someone's going to want to take our city from us, and like the battle of civilizations is coming. And I thought that was fun. Yeah.
Well, let me progress this back. Let's get back on episode 3. All right, let's move further in the episode, right? Because coming off of we are seeing Michonne going OP and shit and whatnot in front of Pearl. We get a scene where Pearl pulls Rick and Michonne to the side to talk to them and like question her and everything and whatnot, because she wants to know who the fuck she is, because Rick and her are playing it off as if they don't know each other, right? That's the whole premise. They're going around acting like they have no fucking idea who each other are, right? Whatever, right? So we get that whole scene, that whole deal, right? And I think it's interesting what Pearl says to Rick at one point. She's like, what I used to vouch her in was that she said she wanted to be around people for security or whatnot. Does she look like she needs anybody to take care of herself? Or whatever, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like when she says to Michonne, she's like, "This guy helpless." Okay, I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and whatnot and everything. I like Pearl. She's a good character.
I do too.
So basically, we get that whole deal, and we get like a mission, right? Where like, they take, assignee, whatever the fuck her name is, whatever, whatnot, in the episode, Michonne's, fake name or whatever, whatnot. They take her to go on this mission. Now, again, as I already mentioned, Beale's already upgraded Pearl's status. So like, she's already been debriefed with the whole, the echelon debriefing documents and all that shit, whatnot, and everything, right? So she's throwing that at Rick's face too. That and Okafor's death, right? Throughout the episode, you hear his name brought up multiple times, not just once, not just around his funeral. You hear about, because Pearl really cared about Okafor a lot, right? That's why, like, what she really does say, right there at that point, this is my only family right here, or whatever, whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And they go do the op, right? And we get like some real hardcore classic Walking Dead shit where Michonne takes that like man sledge shit with like the fucking sword on in front of it.
Yeah.
And Rick helps her, and they push through the walkers, and then they blow it up or whatever, whatnot and shit. And Pearl's gonna shoot her and shit. Right? But Rick stops her, so I'll stop there. Go to you, Andres. That part of the episode right there. Your thoughts?
This was very intense. First off, I just love Michonne. She's so great, but I just love how she's not hiding it, at all. Because this episode confirms she does not care. She really wants to escape this place with Rick, and
she just doesn't understand her settings.
Yeah, well, and to be fair, she doesn't know what's going on with Rick. Like she doesn't know why Rick.
No.
Like the dealership with Pearl. That uprising that we talked earlier.
She doesn't understand why Rick feels so entrenched here, why like he can't leave and whatnot and everything.
Yeah, exactly. And so she's just making the situation worse, and that's why, it's making worse for her, for Rick and Pearl, protecting her, because then the CR will just realize she's an A, and they don't want A's. And so that's going to be bad for them. And I did love, that part when, she, one of her pal workers, one of the walkers was almost going to attack her, and then she just immediately, I don't know what she did, like she threw that head walker, and then that was the most coolest kill I saw in the Walking Dead franchise, and that was so brutal. And again, as Matt said before, the CGI is great. They're really spending the money and practical effects where they should be. And it's been great since the pilot. Come on, we got great people, so it still hasn't been, it's been great. And then the mission, I knew that it was going to be really bad. Particularly for Rick, and Michonne, because you could tell they know each other, and I don't know how Rick can spin out of this, that he knows this person or he doesn't know this person. I kind of feel bad. But I feel mostly bad with Pearl, the fact that she's gonna lose her friend, and I'm very curious if she will because this could set her up. That's something we have to realize, that she could set up be another villain for Rick to face too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because of what happened. This moment, the fact that what Michonne is doing. You know, she would just reveal what was the Ultra's idea, uprising, and like that will make her even more powerful, compared to Jada's role as the CRM, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, and like this episode when she's talking about getting the echelon briefing, and she tells Rick like, I don't agree with Okafor on everything. And I think at this point, Rick is a true believer in the attempt to change the direction of the CRM. And like, I think when he gets the briefing, he's not one that abides like the whole devil's bargain where it's like, we're going to keep everybody safe by killing everyone outside our camp. Like Rick is not going to go for that, like, which I think is something to do. I mean, we clearly know they're killing random strangers, or they're killing A's, but we also know they just murdered that entire convoy that Michonne was with like gas. So like we know they're just murdering people, and I don't think Rick is going to abide that. And they talked in an earlier episode about there's the ones with red that wear all red. They're the ones that wear red patches. They're the ones that go out and do something that we don't know about. So someone's going out and murdering, and once they get that echelon briefing, I think that's going to be a big division point where she really isn't going to buy into the idea of making big changes because she understands why they do what they do, and Rick is not going to accept it, and that's going to put them at odds. I think that's the best kind of villain because, like, she's someone we're going to care about at that point. I'm really scared she's going to die, but like if she doesn't die, I'm really going to be intrigued by them actually like going to having an actual face off,
Yeah, because it's that villain, like it's the friend turned villain, like,
exactly.
Yeah, relationship that
And she also Michonne killed Okafor.
Let's just get right to it, Matthew. Basically now that Michonne grabbed Rick off the helicopter, right, to get to the end of the shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be honest here. At that point, Rick's fucked with the CRM, right? Like they've escaped.
I don't think so. I think they're going to be
able to. Do you think that he's going to be able to make that flow?
100%. I think they're going to be able to say something malfunctioned. I think it's very possible it was a very bad storm that they're going to find out. He's going to tell her we have to go back because
it looked so avert though.
Yeah, well, it did, but what if that shortly after that helicopter crashes, or because of the distraction, the helicopter crashes, and then they're just survivors from a helicopter crash.
That's right. They were going through a lot of chop. They were.
Yeah. Really bad storm. And it's possible they can say something malfunctioned and they got thrown out of the helicopter. The door flew open, blah, 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 blah. But like no one else was in the back of the helicopter with them. So it's possible they think they fell out and they'll be searching for them. And it showed in the trailer, like, do we hit this button to call for help? Like, and they're deciding whether they're going to try to run, and he's going to have to tell her about Jadis and the deal, and they're going to have to go back.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be able to
or whatnot. Yeah.
So I think they're going to press that button, but they're going to go back and they're going to go back unified, and then together they can do anything, as Jadis said. So,
Andre?
No, I agreed as well because this way, Pearl, like, they can reunite with Pearl, and like the mission of like uprising can still continue, but now with Michonne being part of that, which is actually a good thing, and I agree. I think that's where the bottle episode is going to happen, is seeing convincing Michonne that we have to go back and convince them that it was an accident, but also as Matt said before, the deal that Michonne doesn't even know about, and plus I don't know, she doesn't even know the uprising as well. Rick is trying to do.
Rick still doesn't know about his son yet.
Mm-hmm. And that's another thing. Rick doesn't know what's going on with the community of Alejandra, Judith, and of course the son, as you say before, Jeff. And so so I'm really intrigued what's going to happen. I mean, I'm like, I want next Sunday to happen so I can see that episode, So, but yeah.
Keep going. Keep going.
Oh, actually, speaking of Pearl, I don't know, we hadn't bring up. It was really cool, and I wasn't expecting Pearl to be promoted first over Rick, because Rick did get promoted towards the end of the episode before him and Michonne like drop off the copter. But I find it interesting that Pearl got first the promotion into the CRM, like going up.
It goes through Beal.
Yeah, Beal, and
Beal does not trust Rick. He made it clear this episode, but like even in that last episode, I love that scene where he's like, "Are you really here? Are you trying to die? Are you trying to live? Do you want to live?" Like I love that scene when Andrew Lincoln's acting. They show it in the trailer when he's like, "Look at me in the eyes." Yes. Like it's just like, yeah, Rick. And I like when Rick does that, I've seen him be so honest and charismatic and truthful and like try to help people, and I've seen him lie to people's faces, and like I just like don't know what's going on behind those eyes sometimes, and I really love that scene.
Oh yeah, he's full on Clint Eastwood Batman.
Yes.
Every time he makes that voice, it's like, look into my eyes.
Oh man, he'd be a good Batman. Can we have a southern? Can Gotham be in the South?
Elseworld story, yeah.
Or London. I guess his actual voice is.
All right, let's do the ratings for the episode. I'll start, Matthew. Since you're the guest, brother, I'll let you go first. What's your rating for the episode, and then give us your final thoughts.
I am so interested in CRM stuff more so than I am the second episode. I liked the second episode. I thought they built the characters and killed them off and made me care. And all of that, I got emotional when we lost some of those characters. But this episode just got back to the CRM, and we had more Rick. Like, so I'm gonna just be partial to this episode. So if last episode was like a 7 or so, like I think I agree with you. This one's probably an 8. It's a little better. Like I think it's still not up to the heights of that first episode, but it's really good. I'm really intrigued by all the CRM stuff. I want to know. I want an echelon briefing.
Yeah, I agree. I want to know about the red. The red like people that they go out. Like I'm curious about that.
I think it's the same people. I think those people are the people that go out and just murder. Like they just murder every other group that looks like any kind of threat.
So basically, they're like Star Trek. They're the red shirts that don't get killed. Then they're the ones they're going to kill.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it's a Star Trek reference. Yeah. The ones that go out and they're the ones who live. Those are the ones who kill.
All right. I'm going to drop an 8.5 on this episode. And I'll go to you, Andres.
Sure. Yeah, this is tough. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Episode 2, I gave it 9.5. Out of 10. I actually fairly enjoy episode 2 because I love Michonne because she's my favorite character of the Walking Dead franchise. But I have to agree with you guys. This was a much better episode over episode 2. I mean, seeing Rick and Michonne together was really great. Getting more answers, but also moving the plot along as well. That was kind of important, Yeah.
Jadis was a real. She was like the Monica Rambeau Award winner.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well,
the Monica Rambeau Award winner, Matthew, is for like the secondary character that stands out the most.
I think I got that. I got that from context clues. I like it.
All right.
Yeah, and she should deserve a Danny Award for worst haircut. Like
she gets Danny Award for the worst haircut. Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. You got to drop a Danny on that one.
Yes.
One full Danny Award for Jadis' haircut.
All right.
Oh my God. Before we leave, like I just wanted to talk about that.
We're not leaving, motherfucker. We're talking about that before.
I know, but I just like Black Widow with her hair was so awful in certain movies. Her hair was so awful in that flashback.
Bullshit with Black Widow. Look. It doesn't matter what happened with Black Widow's hair. At least she didn't have that. At least she didn't have that going on.
No. Oh my God, no. Anyway.
All right. Anyways, so I guess that's pretty much the wrap up. I guess for episode 3. Thoughts on episode 4, Matthew?
I I'm excited to see the episode where everything just kind of comes out, where they both get to be really honest and they get to talk everything out, and they don't have to be stealing moments away. It looks like they're going to find some sort of base where they're going to get to like, fully explore what's going on. And I think it's going to end with them on the same page, being actually honest with each other and like going into like the CRM with eyes wide open or whatever. There's a moment in this we didn't talk about where after they run with the walkers and they just get that chance to steal a kiss behind the tree. I love that moment because they're so used to the apocalypse. There's walkers everywhere and they just get that moment to have like any moment alone, and they just have that really great romantic moment. And then they're like back to killing walkers. It just really I'm excited for them to not have to do that and for us to really get some development of their relationship. And I think it could be one of the best episodes if they really allow these actors to do what they do best and like really let them have some character development.
Yeah.
Looks like they're going to be fighting some walkers without question in episode 4.
You got to find a walker or two.
Yeah. It's Andres, your thoughts, episode 4.
Yeah, I agree with Matt. I think I'm very excited to see more, like, just seeing Rick and Michonne kind of have a relaxed moment and, like, talk as a couple, like, after so many years of being separate each other, it's great to see them, like, being together, have a moment and, like, recap, recap and like, catch up what we miss over so many years of not being apart, so I'll be so excited to see that kind of scenes and seeing them acting out the crying and then the drama of it. They do it so well, and I'm very excited for that. But yeah, I'm so excited for next Sunday. I'm loving the show so far. They haven't dropped the ball yet, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, all right. MCU time.
Cool.
Time to get Captain America 4.
Can we pause for 1 second?
Sorry, go ahead.
I just need to run the restroom.
Oh, go ahead. You're fine. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You ready for MCU time? You want a little break, Andres?
No, I can do the MCU talk right now.
You sure?
Oh yeah, I could kick your butt right now, sir. I will. No, is that the clip from the Stevie Wonder?
Okay. There's a program in the UK called Stars in Their Eyes, where normal members of the public go on and dress up and imitate, their favorite iconic stars. So let's see who this woman is going to be.
Και εμείς αποχαιρετούμε τη Μαντό και υποδεχόμαστε τον Stevie Wonder.
What? No. All right. Okay. So we're going to have this white woman turn into a blind black man. Really, I just want to see it just because, really, let's see. Oh my God. Why would someone do this? She's even pretending to be blind. She's got the assistant, really. Oh my God. This is wrong on so many levels, but it's really, oh my God. Stevie Wonder. Some people would say this is Karen's gone too far, but I don't even know. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. They're clapping. Why are they clapping? This is stupid. This is so wrong, but I'm sorry. This is one of the funniest things I think I've ever seen. No. No. This is where you know someone's gone too far. I'm going to mute it, but let's just see her acting. This is ridiculous. She's going ham.
There you go, brother. I hooked you up.
Oh my God.
Your hero, Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. Folks, they're clapping because it is Stevie Wonder. Don't.
That was Stevie. That was Stevie.
Yeah. I'm sorry. His laugh kills me every time he's like. Anyway.
All right.
Back
Captain America 4 is the next MCU film, right, on the slate. After Deadpool 3, Deadpool Wolverine, that Andres and I have talked the shit out of already, right? So we've got Captain America 4, Brave New World, right? It comes out essentially what? On
February 14th.
Oh yeah, February 14th, Valentine's Day, 2025, right? And as it basically says here, on Wikipedia, it's going to be directed by Julius Ona, who co-wrote the script with the writing team of Malcolm Spellman from Falcon Winter Soldier and Dallin Musson and Matthew Orton. Stars Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, Captain America, alongside Danny Ramirez from Falcon Winter Soldier as the new Falcon. Carl Lumley, who plays Isaiah Bradley, who was the Black Captain America back in the day during World War II and shit and whatnot.
Yep.
Tim Blake Nelson's going to be the leader as the villain in the film, essentially, the co-villain, along with Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross, Red Hulk, with Shira Haas playing. I forget, she's playing that one Israeli soldier superhero, right? Sabra.
Yeah, Sabra.
There you go. She's playing Sabra, right? And then Liv Tyler reprising her role back in the MCU as Betty Ross, right? So that's the cast as of right now. What we know as of right now is that essentially Marvel Studios has done a ton of reshoots on this. They're doing a lot of reshooting right now of a lot of the action scenes, right? They've removed the Serpent Society angle from the film completely. With that's pretty much official that they're not going to have that element in the film. There's a lot of premise in it. They did sub Harrison Ford in to be Thunderbolt Ross and become Red Hulk, right? And that's definitely, I think, intriguing. I personally, as a Marvel comic book fan, never read anything Red Hulk stuff at all. I never did, but I like the character. I've seen him in animated stuff and whatnot. So, what are you guys' thoughts? I'll go to you, Matthew, again to start off. What are your thoughts on the premise and the potential of Captain America 4? What are your thoughts?
Man, this is the this is the universe I stay up on and stay excited for more than any. I don't tend to pay attention to all the leaks and stuff as much because I don't want to be spoiled, so I try to stay away from the leaks. So I don't know what all's real and not real about this, but I do. From what I'm hearing, it sounds awesome. I'm wondering if it they said that after the initial screenings, the tests weren't good, so that the reshoots became more extensive. But I think that's good. I think that Marvel has always had extensive reshoots in their movies, and I hope that they are understanding what I think Phase 4. There is not a property in Phase 4 I don't like. I like all of them. I like every bit of it. But they made some mistakes in, I think, the way they used to be the kings of hype train, moving that hype train forward. I'm so excited for the next thing. This thing had a tag that made me excited for the next thing, then the next thing, and then I just always staying excited. I think Phase 4 did a lot more one-offs that didn't have nearly as much pull towards the next property. Just the lack of post-credit sequences that have, and the lack of bringing back the things they did set up. So the fact that this movie is not only bringing back, Captain America, Sam Wilson, Captain America, and the characters from that show, but also bringing in Harrison Ford. Yeah. And Betty Ross. I'm excited for her to come back. I think that's one of my least favorite MCU movies, the Incredible Hulk. But I think
it's actually not a bad movie.
Oh, I think it's terrible.
I think it's the most underrated MCU
Interesting. I respect that. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I think it's the most like for me. It's just super melodramatic.
We reviewed it pretty highly here. I think.
Nice. That's great. I still there are parts of it I love. I think one of the most underrated things about it is the villain. Blonsky is amazing, and I really hope he comes back for this because I liked his return in She-Hulk, but it wasn't a very serious return. I'd like to see more Blonsky because he's my favorite thing about that movie. I love Tim Roth and him just being a little Captain America super soldier fighting Hulk is like one of my favorite things.
I'd love to see him in Captain America 4 too.
Yeah,
I like the whole premise of them like having multiple Hulks and all that kind of shit and whatnot. I like all that. I do. I dig that.
If they're already bringing in, I don't know if Hulk will be in this. I don't know if Scar will be in this. But if they're already doing Red Hulk and possibly the leader, and they're messing with Hulk, like the ability to create Hulks, like it just seems like it would be a lot of fun to.
That is going to be one of the premises of the film. Obviously, is going to be Hulk blood, right? Because based off who the leader is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll go over to you, Andres. What are your thoughts? What the potential of Captain America 4? What can the film be? What are your thoughts on where it's at right now?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, because of the state of the MCU with the multiverse saga, I think this movie will set up, I think, nicely to the Thunderbolts. Because remember, as Jeff, you brought up, the notes here. The next movie after that film is Thunderbolts, and this will set up the very important political thriller, very grounded kind of film that the Thunderbolts needs to be, and setting up important plot lines like if we're going to see Thunderbolts Ross again, like Thunderbolts makes a lot of sense, if they want to make the name makes a lot of sense, and then secondly, I think it's great that we're getting another Captain America, because one of the things that's been very problematic about Phase 4 and 5 is we don't have our major character leads, like leading.
Good point.
The Avengers, like we lost Iron Man, Captain America, and Black.
The keystone characters.
Yeah, and these last two phases, we just like who is the lead? Like look, you got Shuri, you got like Spider-Man, and you got Doctor Strange, right? And then you got you got so many of these, and it's like if you get one character, like okay, this is going to be important. It's like Captain America. And it's good that we got Falcon the Winter Soldier to set up Sam to be the new Captain America. So I think this movie is going to be important to lead us to Secret Wars and the 5th Avengers movie, whatever happens to that. That, Sam is the lead protagonist of this.
I hope they have Sharon Carter in the movie.
And that's another thing.
You're going to have Bale in there. She's going to be there.
Yeah.
We didn't mention her in that summary and whatnot, but she'll be in there. Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character Val will be in the film and whatnot because she's going to be the protagonist of the Thunderbolts. So you can guarantee she'll be in the film.
Yeah, it's interesting. Apparently, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. I'm not a big comic book reader, so I rely on my co-hosts over at our network to tell me what's up a lot of times. But from what I understand, the Thunderbolts in comics and Thunderbolt Ross are not related. Like that's not a thing. They just happen to have the same name. But in this universe, the fact that they're bringing in Harrison Ford, likely turning him into Red Hulk, and they're creating the Thunderbolts at the same time, it just feels like it would be an obvious
Red Hulk
thing.
has run the Thunderbolts before in the comics.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, him and Baron Zemo together and whatnot.
From what I understand, the names did not have the same origin. So
Red Hulk has actually been he's been like the leader of the Thunderbolts before.
Right. I don't doubt that. I'm just saying the name origin is not a connection necessarily, is what I've heard.
I don't think it is, no.
Right, yeah.
No, it just happens to be the name of the team. It's actually not a bad name. I like the name.
Oh yeah, Thunderbolts? Yeah.
Take away Thunderbolt Ross either way, right? It's a good name.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It sounds like the kind of name you'd expect it to be. It's supposed to be like a Suicide Squad type film.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what it sounds like.
I don't want to segue too heavily over because I do want to ask you guys one more question about Captain America 4 before we go in that direction. But Andre, sticking with you, did you have any final thoughts on terms of let me redirect and give you a different question.
Sure.
what do you think coming off of Deadpool Wolverine, right? And then, of course, whatever we get from the Disney Plus end, okay, in terms of Agatha, House of Harkness, whatever, right? Marvel Zombies, whatever kick we get from that, right? How well do you think the film will do? Just off the brand name, it's Sam Wilson, Captain America. You know how I feel about him. If I was home right now, Matthew, you'd see my background. I have a big Sam Wilson, Captain America poster. I love me some Sam Wilson, Captain America.
That's the Sam Wilson Cap shield right there.
There you go.
The one from that show.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice.
I think
is it gonna make over $1 billion?
I will say yes because of two reasons. Number one, the Hulk stuff. Look, whatever you want to think about, as a Hulk fan, I am very troubled that we're getting these Hulk stuff in a Captain America movie, but not in a Hulk movie. But that has been the talking point for a lot of people. Is like, oh my God, we're getting the leader back after so many years, of not paying that off. And then getting Betty Ross back, which I was surprised with the leak. I saw the behind the leak of her in that funeral thing like 2 years ago or whatever it's been. I was like, oh my God, Betty Ross is coming back. And obviously, General Ross, I love that character. If you've read the comic books or the shows or the movies, he's a very fascinating character. And the fact that we get Harrison Ford, who's a great actor. I mean, he still hasn't.
Good point.
He hasn't lost his. He's still great as an actor, and it's really sad. I don't want it to be a downer, but it's really sad to lose William Hurt. He was a great actor. I did like him in the Thunderbolt Ross role since 2008, and I think Harrison Ford is a good replacement, and I'm very intrigued what he's going to do with this new take on Thunderbolt Ross. So I think it could cross $1 billion, but it has to be good because the audience are not going to go out because
the shows got to work.
Yeah, the characters need to work. The movie needs to work. Just like I have a feeling that that's what Deadpool is going to do. So if it has, it ticks that boxes, I think it'll be fine. If not, it's we've seen the results last year with Ant-Man 3 and the Marvels, and Secret Invasion, of course.
Yeah. I don't think it has unfortunately, if it's possible that Deadpool and Wolverine will completely reawaken the Marvel box office, but I think right now they are in a kind of a dark place, and there have been a number of MCU movies to make over $1 billion. It's like 10 of them.
The Captain America brand has enough power still.
It's tough because people aren't going to understand what's going on because not that many people saw Falcon Winter Soldier. At least all the fanboys did, all the people that love this stuff did. But the general audiences are going to be
like us that covered it. Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to be thinking it's like a reboot to a new, you know what I mean? Like, oh, there's a new Captain America. They're not going to be paying attention. They're not going to know what's going on. They're going to have missed the passing of the shield. I don't know.
That's right. Because most of your comic book, most of your people out there don't have any comic book knowledge at all. So they don't know that Sam Wilson's ever been Captain America. But then he's Captain America right now in the Marvel comics or anything like that.
Yeah.
Whatnot, right.
To refute my own point, they did pass the shield in Endgame, so it's possible that enough people will catch on and want to see this. And I mean, just bringing in Harrison Ford brings you some, but we have just the last few years there have not been nearly as many. These movies have not been doing as well. So I'm skeptical to see that these are going to do the numbers. I mean, looking at the worldwide box office, the Marvels didn't even do 200,000.
I know. 200 million. It barely did $200 million.
Yeah, nothing's made $1 billion since Spider-Man: No Way Home, and that was such a huge combination of 3 universes. And Spider-Man's one of their biggest characters. You were talking about them not having a lead right now. I think if they were going to create this, if this universe, if they could do anything they wanted to, Spider-Man would be their lead. He'd be
Well, that's the thing, Matthew. I'd be able to add in a Spider-Man into our list of films, right? Unfortunately, but because of the bullshit with Sony and Marvel Studios right now and Disney, right, over what they want to do with the film, they can't, until there's not going to be any production on it. until, I mean, I think Tom Holland's kind of just basically sitting there waiting, like spinning his wheels, to be honest with you, which is not a good situation. But I'd love to be able to add, that to the list, but I can't. But why don't we move forward, and why don't we move on to the Thunderbolts? And I'll go to you, Andres. Your thoughts, sir, on the Thunderbolts. Now, the Thunderbolts comes out on May 2nd, 2025, right? You know the premise. I know the premise. People in the that check us out and whatnot and everything. Y'all here on YouTube, the Holding It Strong. Y'all know the whole deal with what's going on with the Thunderbolts. It's going to be run by the Winter Soldier and Yelena Belova. What are your thoughts? What do you think of the film of the premise of the film so far, Andres? Just overall, I'm going to give you one shot on each film, then one shot for you, Matthew, too, to eat on this. I'm a Fantastic Four and on Blade.
All right, I'll give this an A+. I'm excited for it. It's the one that I'm most confident with. Because mainly because of like out of all the new face characters, Yelena Belova, played by Florence Pugh, is amazing. I love her. She was the best thing about Black Widow, and she had multiple appearances so far. Like she came back for Hawkeye, which was great. So I'm confident with this. We have less drama with the Thunderbolts, which is good. I know they did like one reshoot, and that's it, which is good. So I'm very confident about this film than say Captain America or Blade when we get to that.
Okay, Matthew.
Thunderbolts looks cool. I'm excited to see what Val's endgame is. We've been seeing her drop in and collect this team throughout the movies, and so like seeing what her actual game plan is. There was a recent report that dropped the importance of the people to the movie. It was a rumor, but it was interesting. It said that the most important character is going to be Yelena, as like the kind of lead of the movie. And actually according to this leaker, who's apparently a pretty, whatever, it was Daniel RPK. Apparently he's pretty good from what I understand. But yeah, like they said that Winter Soldier and Red Guardian were the lowest on the list of importance to the movie, and Yelena and Val were the most. And so I have a feeling it's going to be a movie focused around Yelena. And like you said, Andreas, I'm very excited for that. Florence Pugh's been awesome, and I think she has the ability to be a leader.
Well, the Sentry's going to be in there too, Matthew. They're going to have the Sentry in there too.
Oh yeah. And he was pretty high on the list as to importance, which you kind of have to if you're going to introduce a new character, give him an origin story of some sorts. So yeah, I'm excited to see like what is her goal with the Thunderbolts? Is she creating them to be the replacement for the Avengers? And are we going to get like a Dark Reign storyline where she's running an Avengers style team, but she's controlling them and they're not exactly heroes? Or are they a Suicide Squad that she's going to send out to die and then use that to ratchet up the tensions? And like, because after what we saw with Secret Invasion and like the tensions on the world stage in Love and Thunder, like, are we going to see, is she trying to get them to screw up? Sorry, I'm on a show I can curse. Is she trying to get them to fuck up? And like,
so you can swear all you want here on the
sorry, fuckity fuck. Is she trying to get them to fuck up and cause some sort of like, clash? Like, is she trying to cause another Sokovia or something, but in America, so that she can cause a greater security state? You know what I mean? Like, I could totally see her doing something like that.
Yeah. I want to add that. I saw recent reports that it's gonna continue. I think the storyline from Wakanda Forever about the because they know that there's more vibranium in the world. Besides Wakanda, and that's the plot that she's gonna send the Thunderbolts to maybe get this like vibranium from this many nations.
They may have adamantanium coming off Sentinel Island.
I bet she goes to New York to get all that methane.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Confused. Got confused.
Crossing over. Oh, we like that.
Hey, I mean, they could be in the same universe. You don't know. Multiverse.
We'll see about the Kingpin influence too on everything, right? Because Kingpin's going to run. He's going to become mayor of New York, right? Yeah. And Thunderbolt Ross is going to become president.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That could connect as well. Another thing. This like what makes this
that funeral is the funeral of the president. The one that was was president of Secret Invasion. It's his funeral.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which makes sense. I mean, I'm kind of fine with that. It's just forget about Secret Invasion. It didn't happen.
Well, the one interesting thing about Secret Invasion, and I think it's terrible. I think the show is well made, and then it's just terrible the last 2 episodes. And
yeah, basically, that's
really bad.
We reviewed it. We know Matthew.
We did too on the Marvel, the MCU cast, and like But the one interesting thing I think it did is that last like few moments where you see the heightened tensions in the world, and the president saying he's going to get rid of all foreign like Earth or non-Earth like naturalized non-Earth citizens or whatever, and then of course you've got Asgard sitting over there, and like I don't know, it just seems like they're really going for something with that Asgard and the Skrulls, and it's fun.
And the reason I think this movie has like what's the importance for this movie is that I think this is like the first time we had like an actual build up to a team, since the first Avengers movie and the Guardians film. I think this will be the better version of what Eternals should have been. I think.
Good point.
Because remember, we actually seen all of these characters in various projects besides Phase 4. Like we've seen Ghost in Phase 3.
Century, that's right.
Yeah, and who was there? Taskmaster, Elena, Red Guardian were in Black Widow. So we got that. Winter Soldier has been with us since Phase 1.
Man, it's funny that and Melina's going to be in the movie too. So that's 4 characters that are from Black Widow. This is almost like a Black Widow sequel, like with as many characters. It has more characters from Black Widow than anything else.
Yeah, that's also the reason I'm a huge Black Widow fan.
Yeah,
and I
love the Black Widow film.
Oh yeah, thank goodness, it's great. I love that film, and I think those characters were the best about that film, and I'm excited for like expand upon those characters. We got that with Elena in Hawkeye, and I want to see more of that with Red Guardian and Taskmaster, especially Taskmaster. I didn't hate Taskmaster, but I just wish there was more to that character, and I think this movie could do better with the character. So that's why I'm excited for this movie, because it's the first time we actually are paying off things from previous films or projects, compared to other things,
Yeah, totally. It's been way too long since they paid anything off. I mean, they had a few things with Multiverse of Madness paid off some stuff, of course, and No Way Home had some crossover, but other than that, it's been pretty. And the Marvels brought in Rambo and Kamala, so like there's been a little bit of crossover, but not as much as I want. Not as much of the things they're teasing, like Blade and. I don't know. I could make a list of 15 things they've teased that have not shown up anywhere, and I'm wanting them to show up.
And that's what we're heading to right now. Actually, we're heading to the Fantastic Four off this. And I'll go to you, Matthew. Your thoughts on the Fantastic Four? Now that we got the casting all the way and whatnot and everything.
I do a show called Multiverse News where we just talk about news, like geeky news, and we have been covering the casting of the Fantastic Four since we started the show, and we went through so many iterations of like, this is the current rumor, like we don't know, there's nothing's confirmed yet, and then finally we got that post, and I love it. I love the cast. Eben Moss-Bachrach is awesome. I love him on The Bear, and I think his character on that is perfect for the thing. Pedro Pascal, I love Daddy. He's great. And Vanessa Kirby, I don't know her as well. I know her only from the Mission Impossible movies. She's great. She's great in that. I haven't seen her in much anything else, but in those movies with a lot going on, she's a standout character. She comes back in the new Dead Reckoning, and I was like, oh hey, it's a character I recognize, and I actually remember her from the other movie. It's like she has a presence, she has a charisma, and then I don't know, I again, Joseph Quinn I only know from Stranger Things, but he's great on that, and I think he's a good choice. I think a lot of people will love that he's playing that character. Just a great cast. I'm really curious what they're gonna do. Are they from the 616 or 19999 universe, or are they from a different universe? Are they from our time, or are they from the 60s? Like that post, they had that little 60s style robot in there. Like I'm really don't know if they're in a different universe and that's the technology of that universe, or if they're, I don't know where they're going to fit in the MCU, if they've been gone for a while because of this, disappearing to the whatever dimension they disappeared to. And what is it called?
Either
the quantum realm
or the negative zone.
Negative zone. That's, I want to say shadow zone or whatever. That's not it. That's Superman.
No, Phantom Zone.
Phantom Zone. What's the shadow realm? Shadow zone? I don't know. Anyway, Phantom Zone, what I was thinking of. And I kept wanting to say Shadow Zone, which is not, maybe that's not even a thing. Maybe I'm making that up.
No.
But anyway, yeah. The Fantastic Four looks awesome. And I'm really, really curious where it happens, like the setting, how it's going to interact with the MCU. One of my favorite ideas of what I hope happens, it's kind of dark, but I really kind of hope they're the first universe we lose to an incursion. Like the four of them are defending their own universe and they lose. Like that's kind of what I want. And then they have to like travel out of their universe, end up in the 616 cinematic, and like they go, hey, we know what happens with incursions. We got to stop this. And like we've just lost everyone we ever cared about. And like I think that would be give them a lot of like fish out of water in a new universe kind of weight to them. But that's just my own favorite pet theory.
Well, we're hearing what the word is that Galactus is going to be a part of the film. Andres, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm very excited for the Fantastic Four. I mean, these are Marvel's first family, and I mean, all of us have been excited to see what the MCU is going to do with these characters. I mean, yeah, Matt, me and Jeff have been speculating cast like since last year, and it's like, okay, is this official? What is not? What was it? I can't believe it's March already. But it was crazy in February, the middle of Valentine's Day, when that happened. I was like, what's going on with Twitter with Fantastic Four? I was like, oh, it'd be some silly like rumor. And then the picture, I was like, oh my God, they confirmed their family. I was so happy because I was like, thank goodness, I'm done with this. I'm done talking about this casting rumor. I'm happy with the cast. I know a lot of people are not excited for Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. I'm actually looking forward to it. I think he looks good as Mr. Fantastic.
Everybody will embrace it. It is what it is. It's a done deal.
It's a done deal, and I think he will kill this role. I mean, the fact that he has that leading like type of Robert Downey Jr. feel to it that we need right now, and I think he's the perfect actor. Vanessa Kirby, I actually seen a couple of things with Vanessa Kirby, a great actress. If you haven't seen The Crown, the British Netflix show, she played the younger Princess Margaret. She was amazing in those first 2 seasons. She was the highlight. As Matt said before, she's great in the Mission Impossible films. I'm so happy she was cast as Susan Storm. She was the one cast that I was hoping that they locked it, because we need a great actress for Susan Storm. And the other two, I haven't seen their work, especially the actor from The Bear. The fact that he's in The Punisher, I forgot that he was there. Yeah, I'm excited for those two. I'm very excited for that, especially Joshua Quinn. I love Stranger Things, and I think he was great in season 4. And yeah, in the 60s, I love that we're doing a time period again for Marvel. The 60s is important for Marvel, and I think it's good they're doing that. The robot in the picture is Herbie. He's actually a character from the cartoon show. I don't know if you knew that, but
yeah,
it's great they're cleaning that, because that's really cute. And yeah, I'm curious. I like your theory. I think that makes a lot of sense, because we know this movie is important for Avengers Secret Wars. If you know, because they're basing on the recent Jonathan Hickman run of Secret Wars, and the Fantastic Four play a big role in that, and I think it makes sense that they'll be the one that their Earths are going to be destroyed, like almost like Crisis on Infinite Earths, if you want to understand more of what Matt is saying. Yeah, and the villains, I want to bring up the villains. Yeah, Galactus makes a lot of sense to start with, because his appearance in the Rise of Lucifer didn't satisfy us. So I'm happy that they're gonna start with that, because look, I like what Eternals did with that red giant judge thing, which that's what Galactus should be, a giant person, and I think Marvel Studios could do that. Yeah, I'm very excited for it. I first off, the director. We haven't bring up the people that's working on the film. Max Schenkman did WandaVision, so I'm very confident about his direction, and he can definitely deliver this what's the word? Artistically, like the '60s feel. You know, like WandaVision, you felt like the sitcoms. So I'm curious.
Historically accurate.
Yeah, I think he will deliver that with Fantastic Four. You know, that like very like classic sci-fi, you know, like vibe that we need for Fantastic Four. You know, the cosmic film. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Fantastic Four right now.
Kind of like Shogun, baby.
Yeah, but question for you guys: do you think they were going to stick with this release date? Because I was surprised that they put this in this date.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Okay.
They say they're going to start. They say they're going to start shooting, Matthew, in August.
Okay. I mean, I think it's very possible. I saw an interview with Eben Musbakrak, and he was saying that he's known he's the Thing since August of last year. So, like, if they've known, we don't know how many of these people they knew all that time. They might have had these people picked out. They probably had a script. They might already be like working on it. So I'm really curious. Like, it's possible they're further along than we think. I didn't know. So it's when is it supposed to be coming out? 2025?
Yeah, next year, July
25th, 2025.
That is very soon. Although Marvel does, especially if Shackman's already been working on it, which he has for a while now. They do a lot of their visualizations before the actors do anything. Like a lot of their set pieces and action pieces are done ahead of time. Sometimes even before they have a director, they've already like pre-visualized what some of the, like the Ant-Man movie. I remember them talking about like before they even had a director, they were already like, here's what the Ant-Man fight scenes are going to look like. And it's like, they already have it pre-visualized. So it's like, if they can get the actors in and do it right, and they've already got a lot of previs done, then it's possible, I guess. But I don't know. I'm bad at knowing about timelines, like how long things take.
Well, and I, you know, as a movie fan, like it can deliver next year. I mean, we have like, I know it's March.
It takes 6 to 8 months to shoot a 2.5 hour film.
Yeah, but it can. I mean, sometimes it could be shorter, you know, depending on the actor's schedule. Like, just remember, like, it's usually 4 months, like, or 4 or 3 months. That's usually the norm now for shooting. And then, you know, they will pick up later the reshoots. So I think they can deliver that. I mean, it's just it has to be like the Marvel situation. If the movie is not working, then that's the problem.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So let's move on to Blade. So Blade, going to you, Andres. Blade, November 7th, 2025. Your thoughts?
Okay. I wish I was excited for the film, but I'm not. I'm just like I've been down since so many of the rumors about the multiple writers and all that. I'm kind of curious, how is this fit in this like overall like saga? Like, I mean, I get, like, we'll get into like maybe it'll set up Midnight Suns, but like that's kind of weird for this saga. Like, I cannot see the Midnight Suns in this saga yet.
Well, it depends how they handle it.
Yeah, right, Jeff. So I'm curious, but I'm really excited for Mahershala Ali as Blade. That is great. I like his casting. I think he's the perfect casting after Wesley Snipes. I mean, you cannot beat Wesley Snipes as Blade.
No.
So, but he's a good choice to like take up the mantle. And I just hope two things. It needs to be a rated R film.
It will be.
You know, I hope Deadpool can be successful to like, okay, we can do it. And then two, be a horror film. Like that for me is very important, because the reason I like the Blade, the first
horror action film, horror action.
Yeah, well, yeah. You know, horror action film, whatever you want to call it. You know, like it has to be pure like vampire film. You know, because that's the thing that makes the first two Blades so iconic. You know, that's where I'm at. You know, I hope that this new rewrite is good and we're in a good shape. But right now, I'm not too excited for this.
Matthew?
I just don't know if it's happening is my big thing. They've had recent like investor calls and stuff and interviews with Bob Iger talking about what's coming, and they just haven't been mentioning it. And
they've been canceling projects recently and stuff like that. And they've been doing it. Yeah.
There was an interview with Bob Iger this week that said he said basically like, we've already canceled projects that we haven't told you about yet.
Yeah.
So,
I saw.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous that there's not going to be a Blade, at least in 2025. There will eventually be a Blade, but I do think they could cut down on, like, if they were going for Midnight Suns, they could hold off until after Multiverse Saga or something to just like give themselves some focus. That's one of the things they could do. They haven't over invested yet. I mean, Werewolf by Night and Moon Knight have kind of introduced that sort of dark side of Marvel, the sort of super.
But until we get into like the MonsterVerse side, whatever, right?
Right.
Call it the occult side, right? Until you actually get into vampires and monsters and shit like that and whatnot, right?
Yep.
Which we got a little bit with Werewolf by Night, but like you get heavily with Blade, right? That's more of a game changer. That really lays that lays the cornerstone for the Midnight Suns.
Trying to do that and multiverse and build Young Avengers and do this like Val building the Thunderbolts all at the same time was probably the wrong call. Like, I mean, they were trying to make a really diverse universe for this phase 4, 5, and 6, and it just feels like they went a little too wide.
I think they overestimated what they were going to be able to do with the Disney Plus series and how well received they'd be, right?
Yeah.
Or how good they'd be, right? So they were banking on being able to tie in all these connective universe, these connective teams and whatnot, and everything, right? Build this kind of shit up, Matthew. You know, by using the Disney Plus series as well as the films. Now we already know Iger and Feige have already talked about we're going to start, cutting back on the Disney Plus live action stuff, right? They're going to go away from that and go more towards the animation, if anything.
I hope they don't go too far, is what I keep telling people. Is like, I understand that I think they did go too hard into it, but like I think there's a balance, and I'm hoping they don't like go.
Oh, they give us some really good shows. WandaVision, Soldier, Loki.
I said earlier, I really like or love every property they've put out. It's just a matter of it's not feeling cohesive yet, and so it starts to feel like homework when nothing's tying in, and so. I don't think they would have to go from like right now they were making like 5 series a year. And now I'm fearing they're saying, hey, we're going to slow down. I fear they're going to go back and do like 1 or 2 a year. And that will, I think, be too far. I think they need to find a happy medium where you like have 6 episodes of a show, then take 3 or 4 weeks off, then have 6 episodes of a show, then take 3 or 4, like give us a little bit of time to miss the shows, but don't stay away so long that
we weren't too happy with Echo.
Oh yeah. I liked Echo. I don't know if I don't know where it would rank for me. But I guess we could have a discussion about that. Like, I don't know what your beefs were. I liked a lot of it.
It's mid-tier for me. I think it was really good. I think
I didn't like the glowy hands. No glowy hands. And grandma getting the juice.
Oh yeah, it was very silly at the end with the family. But also I don't know. It's what they were trying to go for. I was surprised. I did not think they were going to go with her having powers at all, but they did. They went for it.
Yeah. My thing with the Echo, I was hoping it was a more grounded show, and I thought initially because how we were introduced to the character in Hawkeye, but then they added. I'm fine with her getting powers because that she has powers in the comic book. So
sure. Yeah.
I mean, Jeff brought that up to me, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. But I was bothered by that everyone had powers, and that was an issue for me. And it's like, okay, you're going too far with this. It's like the Arrowverse where like everyone had to be a superhero, and it's like
for sure.
It's
well, and not everyone got powers. I don't believe. It's just that like, and that's the question is, does she even have powers? Is what I'm wondering, because like she was able to channel her family like lineage to help her family, and it's like, is that something she can do anytime at all, or is that something that only happens at specific moments when her family's in danger? Like they didn't really explain it well.
Who would know?
it was like Everything Ever All Once. Like where like you know
Love
like
that movie.
Yeah, like it was like a hopping of generations, but not explained well, like that movie did with the multiverse hopping of the bodies.
Yeah.
That's what it came to me when I was watching the show. It's
That's
like
funny. That's my favorite movie. Like,
I know,
just hands
like,
down favorite movie.
I love it. It's amazing.
Maybe you guys were supposed to be like gay lovers or something like that in another life.
Like,
hey man, there's still time.
Yeah. Oh, good one.
But no, I love Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's so freaking good.
Yeah, it's one of the best multiverse movie. I mean, nothing like. I mean, like, maybe Spider-Verse can maybe be it, but I don't know.
Yeah. It just does something different with the multiverse that I've it's imaginative. The thing I always say about that whole movie, every frame of it is so much creativity packed in every like moment of it. They have those scenes where they cut through the different shots of the people in different universes or whatever. Yeah. When like Michelle Yeoh is like screaming and it shows her face. Every one of those frames is a freaking beautiful painting with all kinds of imagination poured into it. They just did not waste any frames in that whole movie. No. It's all powerful and cool. And I love that like almost they go into the multiverse and instead of just resolving their storyline, they try to resolve everyone's like all the multiverse that they bring in. They're resolving. They have arcs for tons of the characters that they're introduced. It's really great. It's so good.
Yeah. And I hope the Avengers can do that. I mean, that's the thing. You know,
yeah, like, the Daniels need to come work for Marvel. I've been saying that. That's how everything rolls.
Let's close up the discussion, guys.
Sorry.
Let's call it a night and let's move on to plugs. We'll start off with you, sir, Mr. Matthew Carroll.
Oh, I was like, who's you? I'm Matthew Carroll.
I know I didn't like point at you or anything like that. Whatnot. I apologize.
No, it's all good, man. Yeah, Stranded Panda on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, but we do Stranded Panda is the network, and we do a bunch of shows. My two main shows are the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, and we just talk about Marvel every week. And as you see there, that's Multiverse News, and that we do a weekly show where we cover all the geeky news that's happening. And so those two podcasts and a lot of the podcasts make it to the YouTube, but not everything. So you can go to strandedpanda.com to find. We have about 10 shows on the network now, and we cover a little bit of everything.
All right. I'm just pop culture guy, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Time Lord, sir.
And Bat Lord.
And Bat Lord. I apologize. And Bat Lord.
Yes. I'm a huge Batman fan, so that's it. Hello, everyone. This is Andreas Pop Culture Guy. This is my channel, Andreas Pop Culture Guy Channel Presents. Recently, me and Jeff did a live stream of Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, for his 30th anniversary this year. Check that out. It was really fun. Me and Jeff have a hoot of a time. And recently, today, I posted my review on Heat. Because I did me and Jeff and the MCU Bleeding Edge did like a Heat live stream review like a couple weeks ago. So I thought it would be a good time to do that. Tomorrow I'm gonna post the movie tribute for Ace Ventura, and then of course in a review as well this week. So watch out for that. And then in 2 weeks, me and Jeff are gonna do another live stream, and that's gonna be in Ghostbusters because of the new Ghostbusters film, Frozen Empire. We're gonna honor the Ghostbusters film. Plus, it's its 40th anniversary, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. I just want to say thank you, MC Bleeding Edge community, bottom of my heart. Please help me and Cyber to hit that mark. We really appreciate you guys' help, and please help Matt as well. And his team, reach that mark as well in the Panda podcast. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now on my channel.
Damn! Don't be a menace. We killed it on that live stream.
Yeah, I'm shocked that did well. But hey, it's a funny movie.
It is indeed. It's been a long time, but I loved it when I was a kid.
Don't be Menace?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the other one, Ace Ventura. That's what I was talking about.
Oh yeah. It's still.
I haven't watched it since I was a kid, Matthew.
Yeah, no, me neither. That's why I was like, oh, interesting. It's cool.
Yeah, the Andres brings me over to watch some of the. He's got me reviewing stuff like Chucky. We're gonna be reviewing Chucky again.
Love
Chucky. Season 3.
Yeah. That's another thing. We're coming back soon, folks, in April.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that. We're gonna be doing every week. We'll be doing Chucky episode reviews.
Yeah, for season 3. Oh, so excited. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, well, Matthew, what'd you think, brother? Did you enjoy your first show with us?
Had a great time. Thanks for having me. Thanks so much. Yeah, just appreciate you letting me come on.
Sorry about the time difference crap and everything, man. I didn't know
it's fine, man.
A different time zone and all that shit.
It's totally fine. It's totally fine. I was just like, hey guys, I'm in the thing. What's going on?
I had no idea. Or like whatever, you know what I mean? Whatnot, right? So I snapped to it though.
Yeah, you did. You were on in time. I appreciated it. But no, yeah, we're just had a good time. Appreciate y'all having me. Anytime, let me know.
We'll have you back.
Yeah, sweet.
You want to come on this Monday? Let us know.
Yeah, I think I could do that. If not next Monday, I'd love to come on again before The Ones Who Live is over. I really want to talk about that more. I like it.
Most definitely. You come back on whenever you want to come on Mondays, whenever you want.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
You've been a good luck charm for us tonight. Thanks, everybody on YouTube, for supporting us tonight and everything. We're at 35 live viewers right now on YouTube. We appreciate all of you. Appreciate all of you on Rumble, X, Facebook Live, Twitch, right? You know, all the wonderful platforms around, all our socials. We appreciate all of you. I'm just Pop Culture Guy. Appreciate you for coming on and joining me, sir, as always. Folks, we're out of here. We hope you have a good night, and we will see you on the next one.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.
Cause I'm about that. Cause I'm